The company that you built with your own hands, it must be a devastating day for you.
It is very disappointing.
What went wrong?
I think it can best be summed up by Walter Scott. Elder tangled web we weave and firstly practice to deceive.
You were the man who went out to South Africa to secure this deal.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Don't worry. You went out to secure the deal. It must be something you were very excited about.
It was. I went out to secure the deal, the wrong expression. I went there at the suggestion of Chris Guillen, who was Victoria Guillen's father, who worked on the account, to go and meet the Guptas to discuss whether they needed public relations help or not. And we talked for several hours and had a meeting to discuss what we'd do, and came back. And I came back and I said to James Henderson, who was the chief executive, it's a very interesting piece of business, but we can't handle it because there's a conflict of interest.
So you're saying you came straight back and there was a problem. Well, the problem with that is, you see, that we have an email that you sent on the 18th of January 2016, in which you said the trip was a great success.
Yes, it was a great success.
And we would put forward a deal whereby we would earn £100,000 a month plus costs, and I will oversee this and make further reports. That's a direct conflict of what you've just said.
It's not. It's exactly the same as what I said.
It isn't. You said you can actually do this because of a conflict of interest, but actually this email makes it clear that you think it was a success, and you will oversee this deal.
No, it makes it very clear that it was a conflict of interest. I said to them very clearly that, and I said the same thing to them.
But there is no mention of a conflict of interest in this email of the 18th of January. It simply says it is obvious that you're very excited about it, and it's going to earn the company a lot of money.
No, that is an email which I sent from South Africa before I got back.
So, when you got back, having said you will oversee it, what did you do?
I did absolutely nothing.
You came back, you didn't do anything about it, and yet the company pursued this deal.
No, the company submitted a proposal via Victoria Guillen to the Guptas, or the people who represented the Guptas.
And basically, Bell Pottinger started working on this account and developing the campaign, and you were the senior figure.
No, I wasn't. I was the father figure of the meeting, if you like.
Yes.
The meetings always have to have somebody senior go to them, and I went to it.
But when you went to this meeting, you, as a founder of Bell Pottinger, you come back, you say there's a conflict of interest, you've got a problem, and nobody listens to you. Really?
They don't listen to me. No, that's why I left the company.
So wait a minute. You came back in January, and yet we know that in April 2016, we've seen a further email in which you're offering further advice. So you are still involved in it in
April,
2016.
You're saying in April, I had a stroke in early Easter, and I was away from work for many weeks. I went back to the office occasionally, and there are occasions when I joined in the conversation. But sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. You can attack me all you like, but it's not going to work. I had nothing to do with getting this account.
But the thing is, you did have everything to do with the account.
No,
you made the initial contact. You were in South Africa. You came back.
The initial contact was made by Chris Guillen and Victoria Guillen.
You said that you were going to. You said that you were going to oversee this, and it seems that everybody else takes the blame, or is given the blame, except you.
Well, that's a very interesting idea, isn't it? I think exactly the opposite is the situation.
So you don't think that James Henderson's to blame at all, and he shouldn't have resigned?
Of course James Henderson is to blame, and of course he should have resigned.
But wait a minute, he's the chief executive. He wasn't actually involved in this deal. You were.
He was directly involved in the deal. He knew of all the conversations. He knew what was involved in it. He knew them all at the time.
But obviously, you're a very popular man tonight.
I mean,
but can I just say that one of the key things that seems to have been said about this is on the problem with the account, as far as you were concerned, seems to be that there was a conflict of interest because you had other clients in South Africa. The problem with the account wasn't that actually we were running a campaign that had a dubious morality.
No, that was not where the situation was. We were asked to do a campaign to promote economic empowerment, and that's what we were asked to promote.
Yes, but what ended up you were doing was talking about economic emancipation and white monopoly capital.
No,
and those
white monopoly capital was
things are divisive.
White monopoly capital was mentioned not by us but by other people. It's very clear in the Herbert French.
Let's just look at the history
Herbert
of
Smith
Bell
report.
Pottinger and this. You know, it's a 30-year-old company, and the truth is that you have represented people from Pinochet to Asmar Assad. It makes a suggestion that actually Bell Pottinger doesn't actually have a moral compass.
Actually, the fact is, I did the South African post-apartheid elections, working for F.W. de Klerk. I'm well aware of the racial problems in South Africa. I worked there for a long time.
But I'm talking about other clients from
You can talk all you like about
Asma
Assad. I did a job for her,
yes,
setting up a First Lady's office.
Yes, and you also did work for Pinochet as well.
No, I didn't. I worked for the Pinochet Foundation.
Is Bell Pottinger
and I worked for the barrister who represented.
Do you think that this is curtains for Bell Pottinger?
Almost certainly, yes. But there's nothing to do with me.
But it can't go on. The company really is a busted flush.
I think that probably is getting near the end, yeah. I don't know. You can try and rescue it, but it won't be very successful.
So here we have Bell Rottinger. You must take some responsibility for that, don't you?
Responsibility for what? But this is 18 months ago. People write stuff, and abusive stuff 18 months later. Journalists write stuff 18 months later, and I'm supposed to react.
He's been on the phone. We've been on this programme.
I resigned from the company in August last year. I published my resignation, and I said one of the reasons I was leaving was because of the Gupta account.
But don't you think that for somebody who's such a senior figure in the industry, you've been ennobled and everything else, you ran that company, that it doesn't strike anyone as possible that you could be the innocent in all this?
Well, I'm sorry, but I am. I mean, I don't care whether you believe it or not. The fact is, that's the situation.
Tim Bell, thank you very much.